It's Friday here at Origins Game Fair, and I have an opportunity for the first time, actually, to talk with Jim Long. Because normally in the past I've talked to Roberto or Isabella. So now...
This is it.
Yeah, you're at the plate now.
After this, you'll be talking to someone else. I'm pretty, yeah.
High turnover, I see.
Yeah, there we go. We just move them onward and upward.
You all still work there. It's just I don't want to talk to that guy. You go talk to him.
Once and done. That's it.
So you got a lot cooking.
Yeah.
That I want to get to. And one of the first things I want to talk about is it's a 20th anniversary edition of Hannibal and Hannibal.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah.
So really good stuff. So as most people know, Hannibal has been in top-rated, hardcore confrontation type of board games forever. And so the problem has always been is can you get it? And so copies going for resale, copies going on eBay are really
pricey, right?
Pricey.
Secondary market's very, very high.
Exactly.
Right?
So the original designer was called back and said, hey, let's take a look at this. Let's see what we can do to make a 20th anniversary issue. And he just knocked it out of the park.
And Mark was like, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So Phalanx is the person that worked with the designer and got everything going. We are Ares is the English language non-European distribution partner. So we take a ton of the world and we try to get a really great product into the hands of other people. And they've done a fabulous job. The generals are now 3D sculpts. The dice will dent the board if you're not careful. They're huge and they're heavy and they just feel real robust. Exactly. The cards are oversized and really have a good amount of flex to them. So the components are first rate. Takes this really good game experience and now has turned it into a really nice tabletop.
Bumped it up a notch.
Making it look good.
Sweet. Talking about looking good, you've got some expansions for Sword and Sorcery. And the first thing I'll mention, Jim, is I reviewed Sword and Sorcery, enjoyed it. I was surprised it kind of flew a little bit under the radar.
Yeah.
I think it may have been because there were games like Folklore of the Affliction that came out, and then you had Gloomhaven come out.
Yeah.
And I think 5 people got to buy that.
Yeah.
But there were some games that were sort of kind of dungeonish, delvish, GM-less role-playing game kind of games.
Right.
And Sword and Sorcery is a lot of fun, and you've got a bunch of new stuff coming out for it.
We do. So Sword and Sorcery, we were very happy with it. It's been reviewed fantastically. Reviewers seem to love it. People who play it seem to love it. But you're right. There's not been the level of I don't want to say hype because that makes it sound bad, but the level of awareness, buzz. Yeah, buzz is a good word that this game maybe deserves or might merit because it's no GM, it's totally cooperative. The mechanics of the game handle the monsters, and so you're free to kind of solve the tactical challenges in a classical dungeon crawl. So what we've done is, first of all, the first expansion has come out. So Arcane Portal. So as you know, in the base game, you start off at level 1 and you wake up literally from the dead with nothing but a burial shroud. Start collecting equipment, fighting better monsters, get better equipment, fight worse monsters, unsolve the mystery about what's going on. And so you get to a point, though, where at the end of the box set, the game kind of pauses because you've come to a end of a chapter. Well, Arcane Portal opens the next chapter of the saga. So you literally go through an Arcane Portal and you're trying now to stop cultists who want to literally bring about the end of the world for their dark god.
Isn't that what all cultists want to do?
It's in the handbook. You need to... I'm not sure what the end of the world's going to bring for us, but we want it. Okay, so these particular cultists are trying to bring back a legendary evil. So you're going to fight boss monsters along the way. The stakes get escalated. You're going to get some really cool loot included in the box. You're going to fight some new monsters you've never seen before and have an opportunity to really take some tactical challenges that you've not seen in the base game and you get to experience them with Arcane Portal.
Very nice.
That's good. In addition, we've got the new character pack. So kind of some very basic tropes were in the basic game. So you've got a dwarf and you've got an elf, you've got healers, you've got knights, you've got folks like that. My favorite, the assassin. They really round out a party, but people are saying, well, that doesn't really speak to me. I want to be an evil sorcerer, or I want to be a bard. So there's definitely a ton of classes that people know and love to play in kind of a dungeon crawl, and they just haven't had that opportunity yet. Well, now we've released these character packs, and the character packs let you be a bard or let you be a sorcerer, and you can decide whether you're evil or a good sorcerer. A good sorcerer. That's like
I've never been an
oxymoron almost.
I've role played for nearly 40 years, and I've never played an evil character.
Oh, well, see, there we
Not
go.
my bag of tricks.
That's it. Well, and this
I'm just like that in real life.
Yeah. Save it for off the game table, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So the hero packs have everything you need to bring the character onto the board. Play-wise, they fit seamlessly, understand all the mechanics. The challenge comes in, how do you make a bard fit in with a party that's confronting an end-of-the-world type of event? Well, that's kind of a tactical challenge. That's a role-playing challenge. That is a, how do I make this person, how do I keep him alive when spells start going fast and furious? So it brings a new dynamic to the game, lets people play someone that they really enjoy, that's very thematic, and then presents them with a new set of challenges. Because at the end of the day, Sword and Sorcery is really a very tactical game about trying to solve a tactical challenge scenario by scenario.
Right. Yes. And it's nice to see you bringing new archetypes for people to enjoy.
Yeah, and if you play the game once, even if you play the base game and you go, well, I've got to the end of the chapter, end of the base game with my knight and my cleric and my wizard. Well, can I do it with a sorcerer and a bard and a undead pirate queen? Well, maybe I can. Maybe
only you know the answer.
Exactly. Okay. So those are out here at Origins for the first time. Should be in retail stores in just a couple of weeks.
Nice. Then, of course, for fans of Wings of Glory, of course, you've got Tripods and Triplanes.
Oh, yeah.
Which I did not get a chance to check out, but of course, my best friend, Elliot Miller at voiceofe.com, did a preview for you guys, which is hysterical. The game itself, it looks fantastic. He's hysterical in it.
Okay.
And that is coming soon. That's on the horizon.
That is on the horizon.
The
because you never know what's going to happen between the warehouse and the Pacific Ocean and U.S. Customs and the railway service. We're hoping to have it around the second week of August, knock wood. And so if we get it, we'll have it at Gen Con.
Yes,
if not, we'll have it shortly thereafter. But Tripods and Triplanes takes the basic mechanic for Wings of Glory and
World War I edition.
World War I edition, and then it brings it down to the surface. So it's the premise is it's World War I is winding down. The Allied power know that they've got this one, and suddenly Mars attacks.
Right.
So now former enemies have to work together to save humanity from the Martian race. So it's literally the story that all of us know, and some of us have even read, and so now we get to live it on the tabletop. So the rules are really about the Martian tripods, their heat rays. They work on a slightly different mechanic about how they actually shoot and move and fire, and then how can these flimsy wood and paper planes take out these metal monstrosities with this alien technology.
Thank goodness I'm surrounded by all this fabric.
Exactly. Yeah, soaked with highly flammable toxins, right? Let's go in and fly into the heat ray. So if they figure it out, they'll save the world from destruction. Otherwise, we're a new colony, evidently.
It's the Martians and the cultists who are now battling over the fate of Earth.
Exactly.
Now, I took a little, I was taking a task, I guess I'll say, last year when I interviewed Isabel, and I didn't really focus on what was cooking for the core Wings of Glory, because you've got a diehard fan base. Yes, they are diehard.
Zealots. We love them.
Yes, they are.
We love them. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely love them.
And they're always wondering, hey, what's coming out? What's coming out? What's out now? What just came out?
Okay.
Because I know last year you had a few planes come out at Origins, and I didn't focus on them. So I'm making up for it, gang.
Okay. So right now what we've got is we have new series planned for World War I, World War II, and sales. So I can say that there will be, and won't be in 2018, it'll be first half of 2019 is where it looks like those kind of releases will fall. We're looking also at, as happens with every game of this type, sometimes you run out of stock. So
of course.
Some of the things that are out of stock, people go, that's not an acceptable solution to be out of stock of some of the really iconic names. And as you would expect, the iconic names are the ones that people want, and they're the ones that sell out first. So what we're looking at now is how can we resupply, how can we do a production run and give the people
what makes fiscal sense.
Exactly. Well, we did a run of nothing but Red Baron and classic triplane. So perfect. Well, now we're looking at what can we do for other planes to get those back in stock.
Right.
So I would tell the diehard fans is if you're missing a pilot, if you're missing a particular type of plane, let us know what you're looking for, because we're absolutely examining those and seeing, we want that feedback to know, well, where should we be putting our money, because money's a finite resource. Where can we put it that's going to give the fans what they want?
Then another game I wanted to ask you about, which I thought was very strange because it's based on my life, and it's called Master of the Galaxy.
Oh, well, perfect. So this will be right up your alley, okay?
Yes.
So this is a class.
Refresh my memory.
Okay, how I spent my summer vacation, right? So, Masters of the Galaxy is a classic 4X game. So if you played the video games, you know that I'm trying to expand, I'm trying to exploit resources, I'm trying to exterminate all the people who aren't like me. So expand. And so what this does is it brings it down to the tabletop in a way that's very, very approachable. The game is based on a resource mechanic, so you start with a certain amount of resources, you can gather more resources, you pull these resources out of a bag and then you spend them. You spend them on agendas. When you complete an agenda, good things happen for you. How you win the game is really up to you. There's a couple of different ways. You can conquer other people, you can be peaceful and just build bases and sort of overwhelm the galaxy by expanding, or you can work up on victory points and try to build up your peace initiative or your science, and so you can win that way.
That's nice, because most 4X games, both board game as well as digital, I guess we'll say, do have different paths to victory.
And they're
different avenues.
And even if everyone chooses to be totally peaceful, there's still player versus player interaction. So you never lose that. It's not four people playing solitaire to see who wins the fastest. There's still a ton of interaction between the various groups, because as you're completing agendas and I'm completing agendas, well, we're competing for resources. And I may need some of your resources to complete my agenda, whether you want to give them to me or not.
Sounds pretty cool. And of course, folks are seeing the actual components in that while we're talking.
Right. So we just got one copy in for the game. We don't have any to sell yet, but people are getting to see it for the first time. We actually have one of the production versions that we got. So we've been running demos pretty much nonstop for the last couple of days, and we'll continue through Sunday.
And isn't that arriving in about 2-3 weeks?
2-3 weeks, yeah. So we hope to have it just around the corner.
And the last game that, well, no, you've got a couple other titles I can think of. You've got Waterloo.
Oh, we've got Waterloo. So that's with our partnership with Pendragon. So Pendragon has this fabulous gateway miniature type of game. So it's a board, it's units, and so, but what it does is it removes the grid, it moves any kind of movement. You actually move more like a miniature game. So the Italian version is out. We're translating it in English. Hope to have that for Gen Con as well. And we'll give people a chance to go, well, or miniature games for me, I want to expose maybe my son or my daughter to something that they've never really had a chance to do, and it doesn't.
Without spending $1,000?
Exactly, and without spending 100 hours painting everything, you've actually got a chance to go, well, do I like this type of mechanic? So that looks it's just a beautiful game, and so we're hoping to see that in Gen Con.
Sweet, excellent. Yeah, I have a pretty good war game strategy audience. And that will lead me to the other game I was going to ask you about, which is a little bit of a departure for Ares games. Most people, when they think Ares games, they think, big, meaty, strategy.
Yeah.
Which isn't always the case. You kind of cater to a lot of various tastes. You've got Heroes and Monsters.
Yes.
Which is a card game.
Yes.
Sounds pretty interesting.
So in Heroes versus Monsters, the premise of the game is it's a mashup. I mean, that's just the easiest way to say it. Okay. So the first set that came out, and there will be multiple sets, but the first set is Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock After Midnight, I think it's called. So Sherlock, and so you've got all the iconic Irene Adler and Sherlock and Watson and the Mycroft, and so those people are battling evil monsters. In the other half, you've got Frankenstein and Dracula and the werewolf and Van Helsing, and you've got these classical monsters. Well, The game itself is sold for $15, and it has 2 of these half decks. Each half decks will let you play 4 people. So for $15, you've got an 8-person game.
That's a pretty
Okay,
good deal.
and so you can either, again, you play either one of the half decks, or you can mash them together and play a full 2 half decks. The premise is really simple. You're secretly either a member of the heroes or the monsters. You're trying to play cards that are with your faction and avoid being forced to play cards that are against your faction.
Okay.
The rules themselves, I typically, when I teach someone the game, I teach them all the rules while I'm shuffling the deck, and then we're
That
done.
easy.
You either draw a card or you play a card. Now let's play the game.
I was going to say that is not a difficult mechanic to wrap your head around.
Most people get it right away, and then it's just all in the cards. So when I play a card, typically it does a thing. It might move a card from one player to another. It might allow me to force a player to discard a card, or force them to take a card that they don't want to take. And then it's just about managing a really small hand of cards to understand, well, I have limited choices, what's the best thing I can do right now? It plays really fast. 4-player game plays in about 15 minutes.
Is there anything that we've left out that you want to make sure the audience knows about?
So I'm looking around the booth with panic-strewn eyes about all the things I'm worried I'm good. Ares has 4 partners that we work with: Pendragon, Agrology, Phalanx, and Galactica, and I'm so worried I'm going to say, oh, wait a second, I missed one of my partners' games.
I loved this War of Mine board game.
Oh.
I thought that was phenomenal.
Thank you for reminding. So this War of Mine, we've got copies of that out. So this War of Mine is in full production, so we're in good shape there. We've got also have a game called Germanica Magnus. So that's a game that I didn't realize how to play it or what.
Roman era?
So it's Roman. You are a barbarian tribe, Magna, Germania Magna. So you're a Roman tribesman fighting the Romans. So in a 4-player game, you've got 4 German clans, if you will, and so the fighting against the mechanic, which is the Romans. But so you not only want to beat the Romans, you want to beat the other tribes. So very, very fast, very, very fun, and a surprising amount of strategy in figuring out how to do just a very small, very inexpensive card game.
And that's a Gattaca? Oh,
It's another Phalanx game. Yeah. So this came out about the same time as Hannibal.
Phalanx, dummy.
So that's another one that kind of got overshadowed because everyone's looking for Hannibal,
Right, sure.
and you might miss a really good game there.
Awesome. All right.
Right.
Well, Jim, I'll tell you what. I really appreciate you taking some time out and talking to me
Absolutely.
today. So we had never
Thank you very
actually
much.
gotten in front of
All
the
right.
camera before.
You see me before I'm gone, right?
Enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.